And there's two parts to Oprah Winfrey that I haven't really spoken about publicly. The other part with Oprah Winfrey is, yeah, you let me get thrown under the bus and you said nothing. The other part is you mess with my family. You mess with my mother, my father. She called me about my brother, right?
Lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Watching me right now, and they're mad at me.
Needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core when I first heard this news. And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please come forward.
So freaking mean to me. I was in shock. Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%.
I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
Find out who did it?
Yeah, I knew who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
Oprah Winfrey is reportedly in full panic mode because once again, someone she was closely connected to has been exposed as a real-life monster. First, it was Jeffrey Epstein, then Sean Diddy Combs. And every single time, Oprah has insisted she had no idea about their dark, behind-the-scenes activities. She even claimed she never knew Diddy's infamous after-parties existed. At first, the public believed her. But now, with everything unfolding, people are starting to ask dangerous questions. Because as more secrets come to light, internet detectives have begun digging deeper into Oprah's past, and what they're uncovering is seriously disturbing. Even worse, several celebrities who were once close to her and who claim she destroyed their careers have finally broken their silence. And trust me, the list is shocking. But before we even get into those explosive accusations, we need to talk about the controversy that many believe exposed the real Oprah years ago. Back in 2007, Oprah opened a prestigious girls' academy in South Africa, branding it as a safe haven for young women. But that image shattered when the school's dorm matron, Virginia Makopo, was charged with 13 counts of sexual assault. Oprah was forced to fly to South Africa, publicly apologize, and fire the headmistress. Still, to this day, many believe that entire apology tour was nothing more than a carefully crafted PR move, designed to protect her powerful image, while the real truth stayed buried. And what comes next will leave you speechless.
Winfrey has had a lot of controversy around her African school for girls, with huge conspiracy theories starting that these girls were going missing from Oprah's school. All of these theories started shortly after Oprah opened her school in 2007, and the matriarch of that school was charged with essay of 7 different girls. Oprah ended up offering a public apology to the parents and the children and citing her own essay incidents in this apology. But the matriarch would then be found not guilty of these crimes. But then it shocked the nation because shortly after this, Oprah's school was hit with another essay allegation. 7 students were suspended for harassing and fondling classmates. And a lot of people thought that this stemmed from the very first incident because why would these children be acting like this? And the rumors started swirling after this point because they just didn't understand how these things could happen so close to one another. And then boom, there was another investigation at Oprah's school after the body of a newborn was found in a girl's book bag.
Now, you would think that with controversies like these hanging over her head, Oprah would move more carefully, maybe even try to clean up her image. But no. Instead, she was allegedly busy destroying the reputations of rising stars in Hollywood. And one of the biggest names she's accused of doing dirty? 50 Cent. Back when 50 was still climbing the industry ladder, he was desperate to shake the gangster-only image that followed him everywhere. Even though he was breaking records and hitting major milestones, many still refused to see him as anything beyond a street rapper. And at that time, there was no bigger platform for an image makeover than the Oprah Winfrey Show. So when 50's team pitched the idea of an interview, it seemed like a perfect move. But Oprah reportedly shut it down. The interview eventually happened, but by then, the damage was already done. And 50? He never forgot it. In multiple interviews, he openly accused Oprah of pandering to white audiences, even comparing her to an Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside. He said, "I think she caters to older white women. Oprah's audience is my audience's parents. So I couldn't care less about Oprah or her show. She was completely against everything in my music. She was never going to let me on that platform. And honestly, that just confirmed I was a huge success." Then he added, "So I said, if we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies. I'm actually better off having friction with her." And that single clash opened the floodgates. Because once 50 spoke out, other celebrities who claimed Oprah had done them dirty suddenly found their voice too. And baby, they did not hold back. Ludacris was one of them. When he appeared on Oprah's show to promote his movie Crash, he later accused her of trying to use him as a scapegoat, pushing a narrative that made him look irresponsible and reckless, all while she sat back, playing innocent. And that was only the beginning.
Made about, I was there for Crash for the movie. Yeah. And basically she said something about not agreeing with my music, but she thought I did great in the movie. And of course I was up there with the whole cast of Crash. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't necessarily felt like that needed to be said. You didn't agree with my music. And even if you don't agree with certain songs I made, say you don't agree with certain songs, don't say you just don't agree with all of my music. Right. She was able to say what she said, and then I had my rebuttal, and when I saw the final show, her comments were in there.
Right, was in there, but yours wasn't in there.
And mine weren't in there, so it just looked like I kind of took it. Wow. Like, was just quiet and didn't say that.
Rewritten viral storytelling segment. And just when you thought the list couldn't get any longer, Monique stepped into the chat. And baby, she did not come to play. Their feud traces all the way back to the blockbuster film Precious, a movie produced by both Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, and starring Monique in the role that would later earn her an Academy Award. But according to Monique, despite the film's massive success, she was paid just $50,000, and she never signed any contract requiring her to do promotional press tours. However, once the movie blew up, Oprah and Tyler allegedly demanded she travel around the world promoting the film. And here's the part that shocked everyone. They wanted her to do it using her own money. Yes, you heard that right. No travel budget. No compensation. Just expectations. And when Monique refused, she says that's when her Hollywood blackballing began. Suddenly, roles disappeared. Opportunities dried up. And doors that were once wide open slammed shut. But in the middle of all this, one person stood firmly in her corner, 50 Cent. Because he knew exactly what it felt like to be iced out by Oprah. 50 took to Instagram, posting a photo of Monique and writing, "All in favor of Monique being back on top. Say make it happen, 50. Stop playing." He even added that he attended one of her stand-up shows during Super Bowl weekend and said she had him completely in a trance, urging everyone to go support her. Then he went even harder.
So Tyler Perry says to me, "Listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film, because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million." I said, "Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother?" I said, "What I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler." So then he goes on about his spiel, I said, "Well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free." He says, "Well, I don't believe in giving money away for free." I said, "I don't believe in working for free." So we're on the same page.
In a second post, 50 directly called out Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, demanding they apologize to Monique, warning them that if they didn't, he was about to bring her back to the top himself. He wrote, "I'm sure Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry would not want to continue letting their influence damage Monique's career. This has gone on way too long. Now would be a great time to apologize, because I'm about to put her back on. Green light gang. I don't miss." And with that, the internet exploded.
To first acknowledge what I've been in denial for 37 years.
And that is, I did assault and inappropriately touch my sister in manners that were not comfortable for her. And for that, I apologize.
And just when you thought the situation couldn't possibly get any worse, Oprah allegedly took things to an entirely different level. Because instead of supporting Monique, she invited Monique's brother, the same man Monique had previously accused of sexually assaulting her when she was just 11 years old, onto her platform. But she didn't stop there. Oprah also invited Monique's entire family, the very people Monique had cut off contact with after they allegedly sided with her brother when she first came forward about the abuse. For Monique, this wasn't just betrayal. This was re-traumatization, broadcast to millions. She later revealed how devastating it was to watch her deepest pain turned into public spectacle, saying it felt like Oprah chose ratings over her healing. And for many viewers, that moment completely changed how they saw Oprah, because it raised a chilling question. How far is too far when it comes to protecting power, image, and influence?
Parts to Oprah Winfrey that I haven't really spoken about publicly. The other part with Oprah Winfrey is, yeah, you let me get thrown under the bus and you said nothing. The other part is you mess with my family. You mess with my mother, my father. She called me about my brother, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, everybody can change. He wanted to apologize. She said, Monique, would it be okay that he comes on? And would you like to come on? I said, I don't want nothing to do with that cat, but I don't want to get in the way of his blessing. If he's changing, I don't want to stop that. She never said my mother. She never said my father. Now, I know who my parents were because they're both gone. I know who they are. I know my mother's greed. I know my father's greed. And you did not say that you were going to have my parents, because had you said you had my mother. Now, we had a conversation and I said to her, me and my mother are not in a good place. Now, she said some things to me about her mother and father, which I'll never repeat.
And then there was Dave Chappelle, another superstar who claims Oprah tried to set up. It all went down after Dave made one of the most shocking moves in entertainment history, walking away from a $50 million deal with Comedy Central. At the time, rumors exploded. The media painted him as unstable. Headlines questioned his mental health. And Hollywood quickly flipped the narrative. Things got so overwhelming that Dave fled to South Africa, disappearing from the spotlight just to protect his peace. So when he finally sat down with Oprah to tell his side of the story, fans expected honesty, understanding, and maybe even healing. But instead, Dave later revealed that Oprah kept interrupting him, repeatedly steering the conversation away from the truth, and pressuring him to agree with false narratives about himself. Rather than letting him explain why he walked away, she allegedly pushed the storyline that he was mentally unstable, confused, and overwhelmed by fame. Dave could feel the trap closing in. Instead of allowing him to speak freely, the interview felt more like an interrogation, forcing him into a box that Hollywood had already built for him. And once again, viewers were left asking, was this about truth or controlling the narrative? Because when you line up the stories from 50 Cent, Monique, Ludacris, and now Dave Chappelle, a disturbing pattern begins to emerge.
Increasingly paranoid. Would you say you were paranoid?
Sure. First of all, what is a black man without his paranoia intact? You might win $100 in a poker game and be on the subway. You're gonna look over your shoulder. They just said in everything I had $50 million. That's like making me a marked man.
So did you go to a psychiatric hospital?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
Who? I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
There's no question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane.
Oh, honey, it definitely doesn't stop there. Because Taraji P. Henson also has her own painful experience involving Oprah's inner circle, and what she revealed left fans stunned. And shockingly, her story mirrors exactly what happened to Monique. It all went down in 2023, right as Taraji was promoting the color purple. During that press run, she bravely exposed how she was being severely underpaid, despite being one of the most respected and accomplished actresses in Hollywood. Her honesty sent shockwaves through the industry. But things took an even darker turn when Taraji later appeared in an interview with Oprah's best friend, Gayle King. During the conversation, Taraji emotionally admitted that she was on the verge of quitting acting altogether. She broke down. She spoke about exhaustion, frustration, and years of feeling undervalued. But instead of compassion, viewers felt Gayle dismissed her pain, brushing it off, cracking jokes, and subtly gaslighting her emotions, making her vulnerability seem like overreaction rather than a cry for help. And for many watching, that moment was deeply uncomfortable. Because once again, a powerful Black woman was opening up about industry exploitation, and instead of support, she was met with minimization and deflection. And at this point, people started noticing something troubling. Because when you line up the experiences of Monique, Taraji, 50 Cent, Ludacris, and Dave Chappelle, a disturbing pattern begins to emerge. One that raises serious questions about power, influence, and control in Hollywood.